Have you started recording,
I'm
Joan?
trying to get it onto Zoom.
Let me know when you've done it.
Yeah, done. Redirecting to YouTube.
Well done. Amazing.
Okay. All right, hold on one sec. I am also going to record it to my cloud so that I have a backup. And also, I'll just tell you before I do this, I lost all internet this morning. I almost had a heart attack,
Oh,
but
bless
it's fine because I did the oneness. I
you. Yeah.
just breathed through oneness. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to you. Welcome, everybody. And well, okay. Mandy, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. Well, hello everyone. It's just so beautiful to see you. It's just lovely. I just feel, well, I just feel honored to be here, really, I do. And thank you to Joni for doing all this tech. And I know Lynn's busy at the moment, but I just want to thank Lynn so much because she's been absolutely a total amazing, for me. Oh, there you are. I'm so sorry that I was asking you questions. I'm so sorry. I was just a bit confused. But I'm just saying that I just thank you so much for everything that you've done to support me, and this path of IS-ness is your only business. It's been absolutely amazing. So what we're going to do is we're going to in a moment put the poem up that I've asked Joni to find. And sometimes if there's nothing to say, I really like having silences. So if there are silences, it's not like on radio when you call it dead time, but because on YouTube, there are faces on here. It's not dead time, it's very alive time. So never worry. Sometimes I'll just shut my eyes and that's an invitation for you to relax. But if I've got my eyes shut, then it doesn't mean please don't feel you can't disturb. Just immediately, if there's anything that you want to, ask or say, just please go ahead. Hello, Mary. There's Mary there as well. Excellent. And Carrie's there. So hi, Carrie. Oh, this is lovely. So
Morning, everyone.
Oh, good morning, Carrie. Yeah. So, do you want to just screen share the poem, please, Joni? That'd be lovely. Great. Now, just put my glasses on. Yeah, excellent. So, somebody's not muted. Gillian, I think you need to mute. John, are you muted? That's it. Great. Thank you ever so much.
Well, what poem is this? What poem is this? What in
It's
the
called
page?
I don't know what the page is because we're on a PDF. Do you know what the I don't know what the I haven't got the book near me at the moment.
It's
Uh,
called for couch potatoes who feel guilty.
it's kind of towards the last section of the book. I mean, I can't remember what page
It
it's on.
says page 119, if that's true.
It might not be because I did several editions of the book. So, but just at the moment, just look at the screen and don't worry about it in the book because you can find it later. I'd really like you to just kind of relax and listen and just let it sink in. So it's called For Couch Potatoes Who Feel Guilty because you know I used to spend a lot of my time feeling guilty about the whole spiritual path and whether I was, if I wasn't doing enough or so this is for all of us. Your only job, your sole career is to be utterly present and stay right here. There is no other person, direction, or goal, but to keep returning inwards. This is your role. It is of immense benefit beyond anything at all to be the gift of peace in the mental thrall. A busy mind is full of judgments which radiate harm, but a quiet mind is naturally loving and transmits only calm. This makes every step you take, every single task you do, equally momentous when it isn't full of you. And then any activity is a blessed activity, so that even washing a toilet or cleaning a sink becomes divine when you simply don't think. And whether being with people or in a room alone, a transformed consciousness creates a peace zone of which the range is of infinite expanse at an amazing lightning speed of advance. And also, the less you have to talk about, the more your being shines and turns your very presence into a holy shrine. So that while others are talking about the things they're pursuing, your peaceful, empty mind is in the background, silently undoing all their stressing and their constant need to implore. But you, just by being still, transmits a benefit far more. And because peace is your purpose and love your career, remaining in now makes each task full of cheer. So perhaps you see that all this time that you felt lazy or of no value, it's just because your natural inclination is to want nothing to do. It's right that you don't want to fill yourself up with a busy mind. So relax. It's perfect. Don't judge yourself. Be kind. Your only job is to simply allow yourself to be exactly as you are. Then you naturally allow everyone else to be their own shining star. Whatever is happening is perfect. So there's nothing more to do. It's exactly right for this time in your life because it's your authentic you. So, in any moment that you notice you are caught in a busy mind commentary or thought, put yourself on a mental diet by taking repeated moments of quiet. So, my hope in writing that poem is that it puts to rest some of these doubts and worries we have about being spiritual and living a life that's filled with we have to be studying every moment or listening or watching. It's just about ease, really. So has anybody got anything to say just about, well, if you have an experience of feeling that you were efforting? John, you've got your hand up. I'd love to hear from you.
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind, Mandy, is oh my God, what a poem! It's almost like it. When you said you wrote it, I find that hard to believe. This looks like a direct channeling to me personally from the divine at this very moment. And what I love about it most is it gives myself permission. You're giving myself permission just to be here. It's, oh my God, that's amazing. Just, and it's not asking other people permission. It's just giving myself permission. It is okay for me to be exactly the way that I am. I love it so much.
Oh, I'm really, really glad because that's all I want, when I mean, all these poems sort of kind of, I don't know, I suppose channeling, they did all just come, they just came like liquid pouring in when I don't, these power poems, I get called to do them. It's quite a strange thing. I could be doing anything and suddenly, I could be washing up, doing whatever, and suddenly I get this absolutely immensely strong compulsion that I've just got to stop and go and write a poem, and I have to do it right there and then. Otherwise I kind of forget it, and I used to just feel so guilty all the time, and that's not what's being taught here. Whether it's the Course in Miracles or in Taoism is just, I love Taoism. Taoism's like Zen, Zen and Taoism. That's all about being here, being present. And it just means that whatever's arising, all you have to do is just sort of be quiet. And I mean, it's really so simple. I mean, one of the lessons in the Course in Miracles, not very good at remembering these things. Dov will remember. I think could be 48 or 49. Or no, I think it's in the text actually. It Anyway, whichever it is, it's about listening for the voice of God. That's it. Listen, that we listen for the voice of God. And I remember that when I first ever read that, I used to I used to think, one, that I'm never good enough to hear the voice of God, and God is never going to speak to me. And then I'd sort of do this. I'd be like really trying to hear a voice, because I've heard of other people who have heard a voice, like Joel Goldsmith, he had heard a voice. And some people have had the experience of hearing voices. I've certainly had messages in the deep quiet, like maybe a book I should read or something. But I really took this a bit literally when I first ever heard it. And then when I was in the middle of listening for the voice of God, I realized, I noticed that my mind just stopped. And listening to the voice of God is really another brilliant thought stopper, because you're not actually listening for the voice of somebody speaking. The voice of God is the silence. That's the voice of God. And so that is a great little exercise anyway, that one lesson, to just stop whatever you're doing when you find yourself going crackers with your mind and think, right, I'm just going to listen for the voice of God. Yeah. Yes, Joni. I can't hear you. I think you.
Thanks. Dove's first, and then I'll do it after Dove.
Yeah. Yeah, Dov. Hi.
I just want to say it is in lesson 49, and it does say God's voice speaks to me all through the day. And then
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
the
Yeah.
very first paragraph, it says it's in constant communication, which means it's never ending. And then it goes on to say, but we just don't listen. We just don't listen because we're tuned into other things. It's like a radio station, you tune into whatever you want to tune into.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It is. It's like, yeah, yes, it is like a radio. I even had a dream recently, like I had a big antennae, one of those like radiation things where it's going round this way and it's going slowly round that way, and it's picking up all these mortal thoughts and all these ideas. But yeah, that's exactly it. But that voice of God is heard in the silent moments. It really is. Yeah. So. Are you having a sneeze? A sneasel. Bless you, Linda. Bless you.
Two things. One is I did find it also in lesson 140, where it talks about the voice of God. So I put that in the chat. But I really wanted to say that I actually used I use all the poems, but practically this morning, the internet went down and I found I could feel it in my body, the voices. I kept thinking, the more, if I just do more, I'll get this fixed. But it was this poem, since I had already read it, knowing we were going to talk about it again today, and I listened often. Your only job, your sole career is to be utterly present and stay right here. There's no other purpose. So I took a breath. I stood up because I was running around plugging things, whatever. And I just stopped, closed my eyes, focused on my breath, and got present. And when I felt the instrument, this channel, just relax into the present moment, it was easier for the proper order and for the right things to flow that what I needed. Now, it still took me 25, 30 minutes, and I had to let Maureen know that I was not connected. But in that peace, that was my goal, to just be present and be peaceful. And then I was guided. Yeah, I don't hear a voice, but I was inspired, and the next right things flowed much easier than they do when I run around with my hair on fire. So I was grateful to listen to this poem. It's very practical, so thank you.
Well, that's great. I just have to say, I never look at the chat box because I'm so in the moment with what I'm doing. I just can't do two things at once. So
No,
if you put something in the chat box, I would I would love to hear it, Joni, if it's not,
oh
like,
yeah. Well,
yeah.
I just Dove mentioned lesson 49, which is in there for people to refer to later. And also
In
it
the
was
Course in Miracles, if anybody's not
oh
ever
yeah,
on the
sorry.
video talking about them.
And then
Yeah.
it was workbook 140. So do we lay aside our aliments, our charms and medicines, our chants and bits of magic in whatever form they take? We can be still and listen to the voice of healing, which will cure all ills as one, restoring saintness to the Son of God. No voice but this can cure. Today we hear a single voice which speaks to us of truth, where all illusions end and peace returns to the eternal, quiet home of God. And for me, it just doing that, getting to the present moment through the breath or whatever, I can feel the channel open up, because in that relaxed mode, what's important for me to know or do flows easier. So that's how I practically used it today.
I just love that. And all I'm interested in is the practicality of this. That's why I wrote the book. Um, I didn't write the Course in Miracles. Anybody watching this, I'm just talking about my book. The book I wrote, what is it called? IS-ness is your only business. But we often refer to lessons and texts from A Course in Miracles because it's just, for a lot of us, it's our backbone. Yeah. But yeah, exactly. It's just when you stop. Otherwise, we are, like it says, we're like a branch cut off from the tree. The tree's the source. We have the source. And if we're scurrying around trying to think, well, I could do this, I could do that, what am I going to do? We don't get any ideas. But that voice of God is hardly ever a voice as we know a voice. It's the silence, and it's introducing short moments many times a day of just that much, but many times a day, which cuts the paper chains of the thoughts. We're too addicted to finding out what's going to happen next or where it's leading us, but it doesn't lead us anywhere except down a ditch over and over. Yeah.
The other thing, oh, there's Dove. Go ahead, Dove.
Well, I want to ask Mandy if you would reread the poem, please. That's all.
I will.
Reread.
Yes, I will do. Yeah, definitely. And where's Rafi today? Is he all right? Just want to make sure that
Yeah.
Rafi's. Yeah. Oh,
And that's
good.
what made me think. The other thing I asked myself so I could let go of the frenzy was, am I looking for approval? Yeah, to Maureen a little bit. Was I looking for control? Absolutely. Security didn't do it. But once I laughed at, oh, look at the ego doing that, it was easier to get
Yeah.
to my only purpose. You're only, it's as you said, Your only job, your soul, SOUL career, is to be utterly present and stay right here. That's how the practicality got me to get back in the flow of the present moment. So
I think that of all those questions, the question of, yeah, there's, am I looking for approval? Am I looking for control? But it's often, I'm looking for control. We don't realize it. We don't think, oh, I'm not a controlling person. It's nothing to do with that. But we keep on falling into this little ditch of thinking that we control everything that happens to us. And that's our biggest mistake. I'm actually I will read the poem again rather than wait for the end, because I just anything that it triggers in anybody that they'd like to say, or not, it's fine. But is it okay, Joni, if I read that again?
Mandy,
It's somebody, who's that? I can't
it's
see.
Mary. It's Mary.
Oh, Mary.
Hi. I would ask if you could have a little silence before as well as after.
Yes, absolutely. Great idea.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll have a bit of silence now. Okay, and that was lovely, Mary, to do that, because the words go in so much deeper when we've lined ourselves with silence. So thank you for that. Your only job, your sole career, is to be utterly present and stay right here. There is no other purpose, direction, or goal but to keep returning inwards. This is your role. It is of immense benefit, beyond anything at all, to be the gift of peace in the mental thrall. A busy mind is full of judgments which radiate harm, but a quiet mind is naturally loving and transmits only calm. And this makes every step you take, every single task you do, equally momentous when it isn't full of you. And then any activity is a blessed productivity, so that even washing a toilet or cleaning a sink becomes divine when you simply don't think. And whether being with people or in a room alone, a transformed consciousness creates a peace zone, of which the range is of infinite expanse at an amazing lightning speed of advance. And also, the less you have to talk about, the more your being shines and turns your very presence into a holy shrine. So that while others are talking about the things they're pursuing, your peaceful, empty mind is in the background, silently undoing all their stressing and their constant need to implore. But you, just by being still, transmits a benefit far more. And because your peace is your, and because peace is your purpose and love your career, remaining in now makes each task full of cheer. So perhaps you see that all this time that you felt lazy or of no value, it's just because your natural inclination is to want nothing to do. It's right that you don't want to fill yourself up with a busy mind. So relax. It's perfect. Don't judge yourself. Be kind. Your only job is to simply allow yourself to be exactly as you are. Then you naturally allow everyone else to be their own shining star. Whatever is happening is perfect. So there's nothing more to do. It's exactly right for this time in your life because it's your authentic you. So in any moment that you notice you are caught in a busy mind commentary or thought, put yourself on a mental diet by taking repeated moments of quiet. So we'll just have a little bit of quiet now. Thank you, Joni. Okay, anybody want to say anything? Linda, you've got your hand up, yes. Hi, Linda.
Hi. I just want to express gratitude to Lynn and to Dove. Lynn for sending me an email that got me here, and for Dove for requesting the repeat of the reading of the poem. That poem is exactly what I feel in my life, that we need to be authentic, but we also need to share ourselves as we are and to appreciate those around us, the uniqueness that we are. And I just want to thank you for being another shining star to hold that space where people can be, whether they're quiet or active. And I just love your poem. Thank you so much.
Oh, I just love you. Thank you so much, Linda. You know, it's times like this when we have these Zooms that you really do experience the one presence, isn't it? Because you know that cliche, but it's a very true expression. You know, it takes one to know one. I mean, one can't appreciate anything like this unless one is that, you know. It's that wholeness. And that's why being peaceful is like it says in the poem is so immense. I mean, because we become a space that people they want to be around, you know. When you're at your most peaceful, I'm sure we've all experienced this. You might get a call from somebody, or somebody comes round, or somebody wants to have a chat with you. There's something about your piece that is like a beacon that invites people into that space. And that's what does it. That's what does it more than anything that you can do, write, or say. It's the most loving thing, because I often quote the Dalai Lama's line where he says, the absence of judgments is love, but that means the absence of mind, because the mind is only a judge all the time, a little mortal mind. I mean, not mind with a capital L. It's just judging all the time. Judge, 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 judge. And we judge ourselves the harshest. So, John, you've got your hand up there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Linda.
Yeah, thank you, Linda. Thank you, Linda. I just realized, how much I appreciate what you said, because it allows me to say what I want to say without saying what you said, because that's what I want, exactly what I wanted to say as well. But I just noticed there, Mandy, that I'm highlighting again to almost the whole poem is highlighted now, but how much more I got out of it this time, and how it goes deeper, and so I really appreciate the idea of reading it a couple times. Just embedding it. The one thing that occurred to me was some of the people talking about control, and what came to my mind is what I'd like to suggest for myself is that it's even like, especially myself, gabble 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 is been in control of what's going on in my world. Gabble gabble gabble, and so what is all that about? That's about power. It's the will to power, that I have power to gabble gabble gabble. But really, there's only one power, and I can be in the stillness and in the quiet and listen to all these stories, and just be totally silent and appreciate it. Maybe a whole lot more without gabble gabble gabble. But anyway, I've come to the end of my gabble gabble now, so I'll just pass on that.
No, well, that's great, John. I'm glad you said that, because we all have that going, we'll have that going on. And I mean, because gabble, gabble, gabble comes from the mind, well, there isn't a mind. There's no mind. It's just thoughts arising in the moment. But because all this gabble is happening, it's just constantly judging all the time, and it's just constantly efforting all the time. Hi, Rafi. There we are. I don't know if I can. I don't think I can do that still. Anyway, but gabbling is it's always judging things, and these judgments happen all the time. I judged somebody yesterday. I don't know. I was watching television, and there was somebody who she must have put that stuff in their lips. What's that stuff called? Botox, I think, where their lips look like ducks. And suddenly I think, why do these women want duck lips? What's the matter with them? And then so the other side, which still wasn't God, by the way, but the other side, which sounded kinder. So there's one side going, why is that woman giving herself duck lips? This side is going, don't be so mean, Mandy, because if she's gone to that effort, and I'm sure it's cost a lot of money to give herself these swollen lips, it must be because she has a very a not great opinion of herself, and that's the whole thing. That's so sad. And I thought, well, that's just another judgment. She might not be so sad at all, how dare you? But what was cute about this, you see, in the past, I would have given myself such grief about all this, both sides. But I just saw that it was just really cute. I thought I witnessed what was going on, like I was watching a tennis match. I was going, oh. And I thought, it's all irrelevant. It's nothing. She is the light. Whether I can see that, I don't even have to effort to know that she's a light. I don't need to try to see that she's the light. I don't need to look up spiritual words that reinforce to me that she is the light. She just is the light, So it's kind of like you can let yourself off the hook, because that That's what that whole poem is about. Be a couch potato. Don't be trying to be good, to be better, to be more spiritual. Please don't do that. It always works in the opposite direction, you know. And as we were talking earlier, Rafi, just about, you know, and how helpful it is about, is it approval? Is it control? You know, it's most of the time the underlying thing I think is control. We're still trying to control our thoughts, our outcome, our opinions, and you know, yeah, yes, Journey.
I like to play with it and say, am I listening to God one or God two? You know, it's like, you know, it's the control is when I think my ego is playing God. I mean, it just makes me laugh now, you know, and I can sit back on the couch and just enjoy the show, you know, the screen. And with, you know, for me too, you know, when I listen to Kurt Morrow, you know, he talks about that screen I'm projecting, it's just pointing back at me, and I can have a good chuckle and release, as Rafi tells us, you know, release the thought, melt into the present moment, and be that hollow channel you talk about. Thank you.
Turn ye and live. That's what that turning that camera outwards and inwards. Yes, Carrie.
I was just going to say, what I really appreciate about it is that it just really puts things into perspective of what's important, because it's so easy to get caught in your mind, like, oh my God, this problem is huge. This takes all my attention. I can't worry about anything else right now. I've got to focus on this. And then when you hear the poem like that, it just kind of puts things in perspective, and the heaviness or the seriousness of what you're focusing on really diminishes. So I really appreciated that.
Oh, that's lovely. You know, it's just all I'm interested in is that really all I'm interested in is the practical use of and really I mean, we use the word spirituality. I've used the word, I do use it. Sometimes we have to use words, whether we like it or not. I don't like that word because it sounds like if I'm being spiritual, I'm not cooking the sausages, you know, or something. I'm either cooking the sausages or I'm either watching a TV program or I'm being spiritual. The thing is, it's there. We can't help it. We are spiritual beings and we are the light. And, you know, we have times and days and hours where we may choose and feel absolutely drawn to spend an entire day just completely immersed in spiritual books and spiritual words. Or we may be somebody who does that 24 hours a day all the time. But, you know, let's say there's somebody here that's 24 hours a day reading this, listening to this, you know, being immersed in it, and somebody who only dips into it. The thing is, the commitment in both of those scenarios is whether you keep coming back to this moment as many times a day as you possibly can and catching yourself. A lack of commitment is just not doing that. So really, the only commitment, I think, is to this is the embracing what you are, knowing that you are the light, not giving yourself a hard time. And whatever happened yesterday that you did, like my judgment, that was yesterday. That is not now, you know. And we can just relax and kind of get off this kind of podium. We're all doing our very best, you know, and that's the great equalizer of all of us, and that's why no one is a better teacher than another teacher. There are people that are far more eloquent than me, and people less eloquent, as they are with all of you. You know, there are people that are very clear, other people that are not. But the thing is, it's do you feel the truth from them? Do you feel it's authentic? Is it a reflection of you and how you would like to be? You know, which is at ease and in this moment. Rafi, did you have your hand up then? Sorry.
No. I'm just scratching my head.
It's nice to hear your voice though.
But I loved it when you said we're all doing the best we can, because we are. and that we are infinite light, and that's the only reality, and everything else is this dream world. And it's like the night dream. When you wake up from a night dream, it was, oh, that was just a dream, and it never really was. Well, what was it? It was a bunch of images that now don't exist. Well, now don't exist. The dream, infinite light is what we are, and this dream really doesn't exist. It just seems like it does. It's just a bunch of images, but images, when they fade, and they never were in the first place. So, yes, doing the best we can.
Love that. Love that. Yeah, because we are that infinite light. I mean, even when I hear those words, infinite light, I feel a glow in my tummy. It's like there's this just sort of, it's an expanse, knowing that I am infinite light. Then what else is there to worry about? Is there anything that anybody worries about? Do say.
One of the great things is that the worry is the great trigger. If you see it as a trigger,
Yeah.
then it becomes a blessing. It's a chance to get a hold of stuff and let it go. So you get back to the peace that we really are. In LA, we're surrounded by fires. The whole county is burning. Well, not the neighborhood I live in, fortunately, but and the trigger is the fire going to come here? Is somebody going to come knocking on my door and say, you've got to evacuate, you got to evacuate? And that brings up a lot of fears and, wanting to be safe and secure. Well, there's an opportunity to let that stuff go and see the infinite spirit that we really are. So even something as disastrous as these multi-fires that are destroying homes left and right, there's a blessing in it. You got to find it.
It is a blessing, but it's also not a reality. God didn't create it. There was a great story. I was listening to a Joel Goldsmith video the other day. I think it's the one I sent you, Joni, on gratitude. I think it's that one. He was telling about in the First World War, there was an army captain who said, right, I'm going to ask you to memorize this, and I want you to memorize it, never forget it, repeat it many times a day. And that is the 91st Psalm. He that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Well, I'm not going to recite, I do know the whole psalm. I'm not going to recite it now, but the point is, he said, even if you just remember a couple of lines at different times from that psalm, just keep repeating it. And he was the only person. He had this incredible record. He over 4 years, he not one of his men died. I mean, that was incredible. They all recited the 91st Psalm. They were all dwelling. They knew where they were dwelling, and they weren't taking any notice of the appearances, but just their only business was is-ness. That's what they did. And not one of his men died. In World War I, over 4 years, they all came home safely. I mean, that's the most incredible story. And that's what is the result that we can expect when we're just dwelling, in that moment. Mary, you've got your hand up, haven't you? Yeah. Have you?
Yes, I do. Thank you
Oh.
so much. And I just want to express gratitude to Joni for reminding me of this group, to you, Mandi, and your infinite talent and your ability to share so beautifully. And for everyone here, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
I should be worried about having a place to live in a month. We've been asked to be out of this place on February 15th. And all I find myself doing is just telling people and asking them if they know of anybody. But I really haven't been doing much more than that. I haven't been doing any more than that. And I'm not worried. I guess anyway, yeah, that's where I'm at. And I I might be on some level. Actually, if I'm not in a group like this, I wonder what I should be doing. And the 91st Psalm, I'm going to go to that. And I've been here many times. I live on the Monterey Peninsula, and they say that, quote, housing is very scarce and super expensive. And but I don't really, I don't know. But lately I've been thinking, well, it would sure be nice if I could find 10 people to pitch in 100,000, and then we could have like a little compound, and they'd all be spiritual, and we could have this non-dual community.
And we'd all kill each other.
Well, we'd have our
I'm only
bathrooms,
joking.
right? Yeah. But anyway, I am with a non-dual person right now. I have my own little spiritual community. Something that I put into my intention about 7 years ago was to do prison work, meaning to bring the Course in Miracles and meditation to prisoners. I didn't really know what that looked like, and it really wasn't my idea. It was like kind of downloaded to me. And today I'm doing that. I'm going to join that group today for the next 7 weeks. And it's a really, really profound program. And super excited about that. And so what I'm doing is just doing the things that I love to do. Like after this, I'm going to go jump in the ocean and swim a little bit, and then make a really nice meal. And I don't know. What a great class. What a place to meet the divine. I know that when I go through seemingly challenges in this dream, I strengthen. I strengthen my connection. I stay in prayer a little longer. I pray for more people. I stop and speak with the gentlemen who are sleeping on the cement, and I find things to give them and sit and talk with them. And I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure it's all gonna work out. I know it will. I rest in God.
Mary, it's all completely worked out. It's already done, It's already done. I want you to write a power poem yourself about that. You can, in this moment, when we keep having these short moments, we feel that utter protection, that everything we already have, everything we need. We want to be in a state of havingness, not hoping. We need to drop hope, because that's where the pain is, and that's where the worry is. And every time we just rest in the havingness, then we know everything's good. Every time we rest in that, just try it, this havingness.
Okay, will do. No hope. Hope is for beggars. Have is for believers. Well, maybe not even believers. I don't know, but having is for me. And thank you for that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, having is present. That's what it is. It's just it's the present of the presence. It's the gift of the presence, and we can do that all the time. The reason I laughed, and I always laugh when anybody suggests being in a spiritual community, is because I've been in and out of them, and I've known so many people, and they're just the worst places, because we also make a division, like, oh, we want to be with spiritual people. So it's always something I find rather funny, because I mean, I found the most spiritual person the other day when I went to empty the garbage at the garbage site, and this gentleman who worked there just came over and just couldn't do enough for me, just picked me out and just couldn't do enough for me, and he was so happy. And I said, "You are so happy." He says, "Oh, I just love helping people." And that's one of the most spiritual people I've ever met, So that's why I don't like to make delineations, really. John, you've got your hand up.
I want to thank so much Mary's contribution, because I'm having a lot from that. And the thing that I'm just offering is I got a whole lot of get out of jail cards there about prisoners and who the hell's in prison, and then listening to your army story, and just realizing that again. The biggest thing that I'm getting here is we got it today really is the $1 million idea community that I'm with right now, and having the opportunity to listen to these ideas that I can employ right now. And one of it just share relative to the armies, because I got this message this morning. It's just a reminder, Victor Hugo. There's one thing stronger than all the armies in the world, and that's an idea whose time has come. There's nothing stronger than that, an idea whose time has come. And basically, William James latched onto that when he said, once you accept an idea, it's an idea whose time has come. Oh my God, we've got so many million ideas. And Mary's just offering them, like just pouring out of her, and so, and to listen to that poem that you brought today is totally a get out of jail card for me. And I'm just expressing that as a way of having it all and sharing it all. Thank you.
Oh, Hope Mary, did you hear that? Did you hear what John said? It was lovely, because you came out, I think, for a moment then. Yeah, hope she heard it anyway. That was great. Oh.
Yeah, and as Dove would say, that the present moment is now, and now we are in community, and now we are supporting each other, and wherever we are. I know when I read in the Elephant Journal, don't say I lost everything, because it's just not true. And I used to say that about when I lost my home and the divorce and all that. I lost everything. It just isn't true, and I can wallow in that suffering and bring more, the next thought, as you say in your poems with thought linking, or I can be in gratitude for what is. I have a roof over my head. I can pay for this rental. I don't look anymore at what was. I mean, I have to work at it and practice it, but I don't want to suffer. I want to be in the present moment where I can just relax into it and be that couch potato and let God do the driving. Let God be. We have so much to be grateful just right now. I couldn't be more blessed than to be with all these people who I love dearly.
Well, Joni, I couldn't be more blessed to be here too. And I really want to give a big thank you to you, because Joni's just been so amazing. She's worked like a Trojan. She had so many, messages between us and getting all this together. And yeah, you're just a fabulous organizer. And it's just been great. And I'm having a ball being all together with everybody. So I was thinking that same thing, actually, that this is our spiritual community right here, and it's just so beautiful,
And when we walk out the door, the next moment, that who's in front of me is also my spiritual community. And I just have to notice it from the eyes of God, instead of my ego that will drag me into the lion, into the lion of pain and suffering, because it's only then that the ego wants it different. Can I accept that this is perfect now? Thank you, Dove. I hear Dove's voice.
Well, Carrie, hi, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, when I think about that poem again, it just kind of really refers back to the title, which is Is Your Only Business. And if you really just like absorb that, your worries will really melt away. So I just wanted to add that.
Absolutely. And, as I was saying before, that when we're trying to listen to the voice of God, that's exactly what we're doing. We are ising. So what I think I'd really like to do in this short time that we've got left is that I'd like us to just do a bit of ising, And then I'd like, if it's all right, Joni, for you to put the poem back up, and I'd really like somebody else to read it who feels that they really want to read it. So is there anybody that not yet? No, not yet. That's it. We're going to have a bit of silence and then we'll do it. Thank you. Is there anybody that particularly would love to read the poem? I'd love to hear from somebody else. John, we'll save you for reading the poem. And so what we're going to do is just listen for the voice of God. Remember, you're not listening for an actual voice, but hey ho, you never know, you might hear one. But it's the act of listening that brings you just for a minute or two into that stillness. When you're in the act of listening, you actually are more aware than normal awareness. Okay, it doesn't have to be long, you see, because just that little act of trying to listen, you notice that your mind goes blank. As long as you're not, why I say you're not listening for an actual voice, because then the mind starts, oh, am I doing it right? You don't want to listen to, am I doing it right? We just drop that. So now, Joni, if you wouldn't mind putting that back up, and then John's going to read it for us. Thanks, John.
Well, thank you, Mandy. Thank you for picking me, because I put my hand up here. I'm just an eager beaver. I want to get out of this jail card we're talking about it. And I recognize, there is the guilt that you brought up earlier on, and just a dedication to my innocence that's driving me to put my hand up so quickly. And so please forgive me. Let me be in acceptance of all the guilt that I've got, and allow me to read your poem. And that's basically my gabbling. But honestly, for couch potatoes who feel guilty, wonder who that is. Your only job, your sole career, is to be utterly present and stay right here. There's no other purpose, direction, or goal, but to keep returning inwards. This is your role. It's of immense benefit, beyond anything at all, to be the gift of peace in the mental thrall. A busy mind is full of judgments which radiate harm, but a quiet mind is naturally loving and transmits only calm. This makes every step you take, every single task you do, equally momentous when it isn't full of you. And then any activity is a blessed productivity, so that even washing a toilet or cleaning a sink becomes divine when you simply don't think. And whether being with people or a room alone, a transformed consciousness creates a peace zone, of which the range is of infinite expanse at an amazing and lightning speed of advance. And also, the less you have to talk about, the more your being shines and turns your very presence into a holy shrine. So that while others are talking about the things they're pursuing, your peaceful, empty mind in the background silently undoing all their stressing and their constant need to implore. But you, just by being still, transmits a benefit far more. And because peace is your purpose and love your career, remaining in now makes each task full of cheer. So perhaps you see that all this time you've felt lazy or of no value. It's just because your natural inclination is to want nothing to do. It's right that you don't want to fill yourself up with a busy mind. So relax. It's perfect. Don't judge yourself. Be kind. Your only job is to simply allow yourself to be exactly as you are. Then you naturally allow everyone else to be their own shining star. Whatever is happening is perfect. So there's nothing more to do. It's exactly right for this time in your life because it's your authentic you. So in any moment that you notice you're caught in a busy mind moment, commentary, or thought, put yourself on a mental diet by taking repeated moments of quiet.
Oh, thank you, John. That was so beautifully read, and I felt it come from the heart. That was just really lovely. Thank you. You honor me by reading it that way. Thank you so much. I just want to thank you all, just beyond words, for all being here. I've just loved it, and thank you, Lynn, dear Lynn. Can I say hello? Can you unmute yourself just a second?
Sure. Hello.
Hello, darling. Oh, nice to hear your voice, and thank you for everything you've done and for allowing me to sort of run these calls. This is just a beautiful chance for me. So thank you so much. I've loved it. She gone again?
Thank you
Oh,
for
she's there.
taking over and doing it. I love it too.
Oh, it's been lovely. So, yeah.
Rafi has his hand up.
Oh, Rafi.
I just wanted to say, this reminded me that the two most powerful forces that came into me is gratitude and loving yourself. It's just astounding how powerful that is, and how sometimes it never comes up, but it's always there. It's a constant, and the voice of God is quiet. That's what the quiet is. No mind. Thank you.
That's it, Rafi. Yes, thank you. So I'm going to say goodbye to everyone and thank Joni so much for everything that you've done. And Joni, will you be able to just stay on the call with me for a couple of minutes for us to have a techie chat? And I'll see everybody hopefully